I want to talk about Dr. Fauci and COVID and the system and the lies. And yes, I am aware that it is, April 21st? April 21st, I'm aware. But we're not going to let this go. We're not going to allow the destruction of American freedom, jobs, economy, school, children. We're not going to just let it go and act, no, I'm not going to let it go. I'm not. There are things that I'm never going to let go. I'm never going to forget. I'm going to continue to bring this up until I get some sort of justice on this earth. I want to bring up an interesting aspect of it because there's a lot of things we could talk about when it comes to COVID. But remember all the debate over the origins of COVID? Right away. Remember right when it came out, people wanted to know, hey, new virus, where did it come from? Right? Was it Africa? And then we found, okay. It was China. All right, I'm learning like you're learning. We're all learning at once. I'm watching TV. I'm reading stuff. Okay, came from China. All right, we got that. And then there were debates. Well, it looks like it came from Wuhan city in China. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know about Wuhan. I've never been there before. All right, you say so. Cool. And then didn't take long for people to figure out. Well, wait a minute. There's a lab in Wuhan. A lab that works with viruses? That's interesting. Hey, is that where it came from? And that question, more specifically, the answer to that question was so revealing to me early on about how ugly this whole thing was. Because immediately, every single part of the system, the freaking Central Intelligence Agency, every part of the system, the media, the doctors, everybody insisted that couldn't be it. You didn't know that. Nobody knew that yet. What do you mean? Why are you demanding that? You don't know. It was from an animal market or something. Okay, maybe, but are you seriously? You know it didn't come from the lab? Fauci was all over TV saying this.
We still open up and keep always an open mind as to whether or not this had to do with a virus that was isolated out in the environment and that came into a lab and then had what most people refer to as a lab leak. I believe that is less likely that that's the case, but I also believe we need to keep an open mind and have all possibilities be investigated. But the evidence from the virology community points strongly towards a natural occurrence.
Yeah, no. Look, we need to look into it, but it's definitely probably a natural occurrence, except we just got a report out from the White House, COVID report, and it says a lot of things in it. But one thing we know now, while Fauci was on TV talking about having an open mind, Fauci, he worked to destroy anybody who said it might come from a lab. He worked to discredit anybody, people part of that community. We're talking accomplished people. Fauci worked really hard to discredit and destroy them if they said it came from a lab, the lab. That doesn't sound like keeping an open mind. That sounds like a nefarious supervillain working very hard to cover something up for some reason. In fact, almost sounds like somebody trying to cover up a crime, doesn't it? And I think about that. I think about the fact that Fauci made $3.5 million last year. I think about the fact that Fauci is still on television saying things like this.
Maybe it was, I think, in retrospect, I think what people are getting confused is the idea of shutting things down temporarily was the right decision. Everyone agrees.
We also flattened the curve, but when the curve got flattened, we didn't get to send kids back to school.
What happened is that there became almost an ideological divide. One thing is very clear. Masks work. You see a lot of people say, oh, masks don't work. Masks worked.
No, they didn't. Everyone knows that. That stupid mask you wear didn't stop a microscopic virus. Everyone knows that. Don't set aside your common sense for somebody with a lapel pin that says doctor on it. Everyone knows that. That stupid paper mask of yours did nothing at all. Everyone knows that. But he feels completely comfortable saying things like that, raking in a bunch of money, because we've never had an actual reckoning. And remember, it was Fauci's recommendation, it was his endless recommendations that paved the road for tyrants like this.
Your right to go out for a walk in the park, go out for a walk because you need to get out of the house, the dog is getting on your nerves, fine. Don't infect me. You don't have a right to infect me. If you are going to be in a situation in public where you may come into contact with other people in a situation that is not socially distanced, you must have a mask or a cloth covering nose and mouth. That is by executive order.
Maybe that doesn't anger you or blow you away, but you realize a governor should never talk to you like that? Here's what you're allowed to do, and if you're going to do this, you better wear that, or you better do that, and you're not allowed to do that. I've made the... Still to this day, I can feel my blood pressure rise. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.